What is she doing now? I can hear you say. Well, what she is doing now, what I am doing now, is trying to help you in this time of toilet crisis. Now, you may or may not be in a position to be worried about toilet paper, and I'm not yet. I was a smart cookie, and I saw this coming for some time, and I've been talking to my students about it for some time, so I didn't actually have a huge stash of toilet paper, but I've got enough to last me, and just in case I don't, I'm of the older generation, so I remember when we used sheets, old sheets. Now this one, although it's clean, is a drop sheet, an old drop sheet, so it is marked. And what I'm going to do, someone said to me, I don't know how to do that. So I thought I would teach you how to rip up a sheet. Okay? So this has been a very good sheet in its time, so it may not rip up nice and neatly. Oh yeah, here we are. This is how to rip up a sheet. If you've ever wanted to rip up something, now is your chance. So decide, I just took off the hard edge, decide how wide you want your bum wipes to be, because what we're going to do here is we're going to make handkerchief-sized bum wipes, and then what you do is after you've used the toilet, you wipe your bottom with the bum wipe. You can wet it if you want, and then there should be a bucket beside the toilet, and you can have a little bit of bleach or vinegar water or something in there, and a little bit of eucalyptus essence, not much, and just pop your sheet toilet wipes in there and put them into a hot wash when there's enough, not one at a time. Otherwise, you're using more water than you should. See, it's simple. I wouldn't advise using a whole sheet. Someone said, oh, do I have to rip it up? Yes, you do. If you don't rip it up, it'll be too big. That's about the size. You don't want it too small, and you don't want it too big. So that's about the size. And this is just a small sheet. There aren't, nowadays it's hard to get small sheets, I understand that. But you could get hot sheets if you want to. Or you could use your old nappies and cut those up. But this is how to do it. So out of that piece, I think I'll decide to do those smaller, so I can do that and that. Okay, so I've got two bigger ones, probably for number twos, and I've got three smaller ones, so I can decide what to do. Now, if you are very fancy, you can get your sewing machine and overlock around the edges of this, but it's not mandatory. They'll work without that. But just say you had a B&B, and a friend of mine has a B&B, and they have resorted to these, and people have been quite enthralled by the idea of doing something the old-fashioned way. So yes, you can, as I was going to say, my friends with a B&B, they've gone all fancy, and they've overlocked them, and they've got initials in the corners and all kinds of great stuff. So you can go bonkers with design if you want to, but see, out of that small piece of sheet, I've got all this sheet to do left, out of that small piece of sheet, I have got 5 of those. Now, I don't know how much you spend on toilet rolls in a year. Probably more than you think. This couple who got the B&B, they said they've saved, and they've been using these designer toilet wipes for some time, and they reckon they've saved about $400. I'm not sure whether they have, but that's what they say. So there we are. So you can see that these are not fabulously spotless sheets. This was an art drop sheet that I used to use it on the table when I was doing something messy. It's very clean, but it has got paint on it that I can't get off, and so it's perfect for this. You can hear the ripping, so you know that I'm doing well. There we are. If you don't overlock, you're going to, these are good sheets. Well, they were. If you don't overlock, you're going to have strings, you know, from the ripping, and that will happen every time. So it's not a big deal to cut them off. There we are, pristine again. It's not a big deal to cut them off, but you might prefer to overlock and not have to bother with that. So I don't know how many toilet wipes I'm going to get out of this sheet, but quite a lot. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10, and I've still got heaps of sheet to go. So I reckon that out of this sheet I'll get 30 or 40 wipes. Now that's plenty. That, you know, as far as I'm concerned, unless you've got a huge family, that's plenty. And then you can see how much it is there. So you will not need a big pail. Something, if you're a designer crazy, and I'm not, you can get a stainless steel pail with a lid, put it beside the toilet, put water in the bottom, put vinegar in that, and put in a little bit of eucalyptus oil, and then at the end of the day just tip that into your washing machine on a hot cycle. Not much water, as low as you can go. On my machine, which is a beautiful little baby, I can do a 10-minute hot cycle. So it doesn't use much water in a 10-minute hot cycle with one rinse. And that is plenty adequate for this. You don't need to put it on for an hour and a half or anything fancy like that. Just remember what you did when your kids were small. Oh, sorry, you would have used fancy nappies. We use cloth nappies. And I remember very well when drying cabinets came in. They were a miracle. Yeah, so there you are. No need to go to the supermarket for toilet roll anymore. The other day I saw someone sobbing in front of the toilet roll, empty shelves. What am I going to do, she said. And I said, the same thing we used to do before we had toilet rolls. You either use cut up newspaper or cut up telephone books or something, or use these. If you've got newspaper or telephone books, you can't put that down the toilet. That has to be disposed of somehow. But these, you just drop off the larger lumps, put the remainder into, don't put your poop into the pail. If you want to, you can just do a pre-rinse by holding your little nappy thing underneath the running toilet water, and then put it into your pail, and there you are. Don't put the poop into the pail, please, because your washing machine will not smell nice. But if you just put it into a pail with a bit of vinegar water with essence of some kind in it, it'll be fine. You'll manage. And it's not forever. This too, as the Buddha said, will pass. Namaste.